I'm going to show you how to set up an epic bass template using the combinator in Propellerhead Reason 9.5. Hey friends, my name is Mike and I share my story and journey as a music maker and artist to motivate and inspire you. So click that subscribe button to gain music superpowers. The main purpose of a master bass patch is to have everything set up for quick and easy access so that you can change the individual layers to suit your current track, but also to have overall control for each layer, all effects, and the final bass sound polish. The way I like to design a master bass template is to first think about the parts that should go into the complete bass sound. If you think about this, a master bass sound can be divided into three main parts. A sub-bass that adds the fundamental low-end frequency of the bass sound, a body bass, which is basically the main focus and the fatness of the bass sound, and finally a pluck sound that adds that distinct attack to make all the bass notes audible on any speakers. Alright? Let's create a master bass sound using the combinator in Propellerhead Reason. Alright, so here we are now in my Grandmaster template in Reason 9.5. And I have the rack open here, and this is my bass sound template with my own custom skin for the combinator here. So let's start by adding a small mixer into the combinator so that we can add these three elements which constitutes the layers of the final master bass sound. So I right click inside the combinator, go to Utilities and add a line mixer here on the top. Next, it's time to add the three individual layers that will together become the master bass sound. We have the sub bass layer, the body bass layer, and the pluck bass layer. So let's start with the sub bass first. You simply right click on the mixer and then choose instruments, or you can go into the browser here and choose an instrument here and just drag it below the mixer. And you can go with whatever synthesizer, rack extension or VST plugin you want, but I have actually found that for sub bass, since it is such an easy sound, the good old Subtractor analog synthesizer works great for this kind of sound. And it's also much easier on your CPU, so you will save some power on your computer. So just left click on this synth and drag it just below the mixer you just created. And if I press the tab, you will see that it is already connected to the first channel in your bass mixer here. And I will rename it straight away into sub, because it's the sub bass. And now it's just a matter of either creating your sound inside this synth or browsing for a good preset. And I know there's plenty of sub bass presets, so we can go to the browser and look for, let's search for sub. And here we have sub bass 1. Let's test that one. Double click. And it's loaded into the Subtractor. Let's listen to it. That's actually a super great sound to start from, but I want to test some other presets first to see which I prefer. So let's go with the sub bass 2. That's even more sub bassy and deep low end. Let's choose the sub users bass. No, that's not gonna work at all. Let's see, squishy subby. Nope, I don't want anything of that style. Triangle sub. Not that either. Sub go. No, I don't want any effect. Just a simple low-end sub bass. So it's either the sub bass 1. I could turn the frequency of the filter down a bit to reduce some of the low mids. I like that better already. There was just a hint of too much growl in the sound before. Let's compare that with the sub bass 2 again. I don't feel that it has as much clean and tight control of the low end. So let's go with sub bass 1 with and turn down the filter frequency on filter 1 to say 21. Yeah, that's totally gonna work for this. Another thing I always do on a sub bass sound is to remove all modulation based on velocity. Velocity is basically how hard you press your keys on your MIDI keyboard. I want all notes on the sub bass to have equal volume and character, so I simply turn all velocity based modulation off in the synth or instrument I use for the sub bass. On the Subtractor synthesizer you see the velocity section here, and you can see that the default on this patch is actually having velocity based on the amp and on the filter envelope. So simply turn those to 0 and you are good to go. Alright, that was the sub bass part of the master bass patch. To be honest, this is the easiest layer to add, because a sub bass is a very simple kind of sound. Its purpose is basically to take care of the deepest low end of the bass. You just want to make sure that it's clean, tight and controlled. That's why I always use a separate layer for the sub bass. Now it's time to add the fatness of the bass, the body, the actual character of the complete bass. Here is where you can choose to go for a fat analog synth sound, a rocking electric bass, or whatever style of bass you want to use for your track. For the second layer of the master bass template, I'm actually going to go for my favorite plugin for bass, which is a VST by Spectrasonics called Trillion. So let's go into the browser again, click on Instruments, and here you can choose which instrument you want to use. And I'm scrolling down until I find Spectrasonics, which is the developer. And here is the specific plugin I'm going to use, called Trillion. So just left click and drag it into the combinator. I will put it after the Subtractor, and voila! It's routed automatically to the micro mixer here at the top. And let's rename it into, let's call it Fat, because it's going to be the fat sound of the bass. So click on the VST plugin window here on the device to open up the VST plugin. And this is Trillion, a bass plugin, and it has synth basses, electric basses, and acoustic basses even. So let's open up the browser in this plugin and let's try to find a cool bass sound for the fat and body of the master bass template. Oh, and I am playing the combinator patch, so in order to try out just this layer, I have to mute the sub bass layer for now in the mini mixer here. Now let's go back to the plugin. And I will go for a synth bass sound, so let's click on that category. And here I have, I don't know, thousands of presets to choose from. And this plugin is great because it has a great structure and organization for all patches. So whatever plugin or instrument you choose to go for, find a sound that can be the body and fat of the bass. I already found one here called the TR Analog Instability, which I'm going to use as a starting point for the second layer of the master bass template. And it sounds like this. Great! So now we have a sub-bass layer plus a fat bass layer. Now we just need to add that final layer, which will add a short, plucky, clicky overtone to make sure that each bass note is heard even on small speakers. Now I'm back in the browser here and I want to find an instrument to add that final third layer of the master bass template. And I think I'm going to go for the Korg Poly 6, which is an analog classic synthesizer, which I know very well. So I have soloed the Korg Poly 6 in the mini mixer here in the master bass combinator. And the default patch actually already has kind of a pluck tone. And to enhance the pluckiness, the easiest thing to do is actually to reduce the decay of the sound and having the release on a low setting as well, probably 0 actually for this sound. And now you have that pluck sound. And of course you can use any synth or instrument you want, and even an electric bass that has a sharp attack would be good for this. In fact, actually, let's rename this final third layer Attack, because its purpose is to take care of the attack part of the master bass sound. So, there you have it. All 3 layers of the master bass template. The sub-bass layer, the fat bass layer, and the attack bass layer. Connected with a mini mixer at the top, where you can dial in the perfect amount per layer using these level knobs here. Next it is time to add the effects per individual layer of the bass. And after that we will finally add the insert effects that will be put on the complete master bass sound. In the next video we will do the final steps to complete the master bass template. This includes adding effects to the individual layers, using equalizers and filters to create a space for each sound, and finally adding the master effects to shape the overall bass sound with. We will also add some special programming to the knobs and buttons of the master bass combinator so that you can adjust your final bass sound super quickly and efficiently. I'm Mike, helping you set up your master bass template using the incredible combinator in Reason, because you rock, my friends! My name is Mike, and I share my story and journey as a music composer and sound designer to inspire creative people like you. So click that subscribe button to gain music superpowers.